but, you know, I want her to be happy.
If someone said to you, but, you know, I want you to be happy, would you really believe them? What's up, guys, and welcome back. My name's Natasha, and this is Behavior Breakdowns. Today, we are breaking down the body language and behavior of Robyn Brown. Now, if you don't know who Robyn is, she is one of the stars of TLC's hit show Sister Wives. And as of today, she is the last sister left standing, because all of the other women in this polygamous relationship have now left. The internet has dubbed Robyn Sobbin Robyn because in so much of her footage, she is often seen in hysterics. But one thing that I found super interesting was that when I started to really pull apart and analyze some of her interview footage, despite the fact that she spent so much time sobbing, there were never any tears. Not even one. So let's take a look at some of Robyn's body language and behavior together, and we can find out if Robyn is really authentically feeling what she says she's feeling.
It just hit me so hard that I just don't get to have the perfect Christmas. Because my family's not here.
So the first thing I notice about this clip is that Robyn goes to dab her eyes and she pulls her hand away and she looks. She looks to her hand to see if there's any tears or if there's any makeup residue. And it's just interesting because it gives us some insight into the fact that she's concerned with how she's presenting on camera. If you're in the height of an emotional moment, then I don't think that's your first instinct to look to see if there's makeup or tears. She says, I don't get to have the perfect Christmas, and we see a cluster of emotion. There's a lip quiver, there's a mouth shrug, we see grief forming on the forehead, the eyebrows are being pulled in, and then she turns and adds, because I don't get to have my family here. That was the afterthought to I don't get to have the perfect Christmas. In all fairness, many of us don't get to have the perfect Christmas, but it does give us some insight into Robyn's idyllic sort of thinking around the perfect family, the perfect Christmas, what things look like in her mind and how things should be, and then the disconnect from the reality that she finds herself in.
I just had to take a moment and feel it and process so I can get up tomorrow, put on a happy face, and make it beautiful and make it special. And I know that Cody's gonna struggle, and it's just not what I expected my life to be.
The first thing I noticed is that Robyn does a tongue jut. The tongue jut is probably one of my favorite body language gestures because once you start to see it, you'll see it everywhere. We develop the tongue jut in infancy when we no longer want to be fed. We learn to push the bottle or the nipple out of the mouth. So the tongue jut is around the idea of distaste. I no longer want that. And you'll see even adults making this gesture when they are talking about something that they don't like or they want distance from. Push the idea away. I don't like that. I don't want it. So she does a tongue jut there initially. We also see some shaking of the head no. Now, this doesn't mean that she's being incongruent to what she's saying. It doesn't mean she's being deceptive. Sometimes people shake the head no when they are feeling disbelief towards something. They might say like, yeah, I can't believe that happened. We also see some shoulder shrugging going on. That suggests a little bit of uncertainty around the idea of processing those emotions. The eyebrows are still pulled in here. We still see that muscle pulling those eyebrows up and together. And we see another tongue jut on and feel the emotion, pushes that emotion away. It's not really something that she wants to feel.
Well, he said he fell in love with you because he could finally be his full self. He could finally be vulnerable and love you. And that was the
Yeah.
connection that he was really searching for, that he did not have with the 3 other women.
In this next clip here, we have Robyn sitting down doing a one-on-one interview, and right away we see some major changes in Robyn's body language. We see a lot of ventilation. She pulls the hair off the back of the neck. So sometimes women do this if they are starting to feel stress. They'll kind of give some ventilation to air out the back of the neck. So hair touching can also have to do with grooming and appearing more attractive, showing that the hair is healthy and voluptuous. It could be releasing scent off of the hair to attract somebody. So there is some grooming gestures going on, but we see how uncomfortable Robyn is. She's shifting around in her seat. She pulls her sweater in tight.
See, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that until like just recently.
Really?
I did not know that, and it still makes me wonder, because I wonder if it's just the rewriting of history. So there seems to be a lot of that.
Now, this second part is the most interesting to me because Robyn says a contracted denial. She says, I didn't know that. And then she says a non-contracted denial. I did not know that. So that's a little change. And if we think back to one of the most famous examples of a non-contracted denial,
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
we can start to understand that sometimes changes in someone's baseline of how they answer certain questions might give us insight into how they're actually feeling or what they might be hiding. So I do think there might be a bit of deception around this because she says, I didn't know that. I did not know that. Suki, the interviewer, challenges her by one simple word. She says, really? Robyn goes, I did not know that, but then she trails off. She doesn't finish the sentence. She actually redirects us to a different topic and a different conversation. Well, history is being rewritten. So Robyn is a part of a TV series which has been going on for at least 10 years. So if there's any question about history being rewritten, there's pretty good documentation, more than most of us, because these people's lives have been recorded and filmed. So there is documentation. If she's concerned about history being rewritten, ask the producers for the tapes. Roll the tapes.
When your husband is saying he wept for joy for months because he had found you.
But I don't think he was saying that to them. Does he say?
No, but that's
Okay.
just how he was feeling. So when a person is feeling that kind of inner joy,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard just to suppress it and just be like, okay.
Well, I did my best. I don't know what else I was supposed to do, but I did my best to not have it be something that was painful for them. I constantly was suppressing and hiding my relationship and any kind of connection I had with Cody.
When the interviewer clarifies that no, that's just how he was feeling, he wasn't actually saying to the other women that he favorited Robyn or that he was weeping for joy, we do see that reassurance wash over Robyn's face, and she kind of feels a bit grounded in that moment. The next thing I want to call out is that there's a jump from present tense to past tense, and Robyn says, I do my best, I don't know what I'm supposed to, and she trails off and says, I was supposed to, but I did my best. So she's jumping from feeling presently in the moment to back in the past, clarifying that she did her best even back then, but she's done her best and she wants us to know that.
So let's be real. She's not interested in having a spot here. If you and I are living over there, do you
never
think
know.
that Mary would ever want to live here?
You never
Have
know.
a retreat here
You
at all?
never know.
This place is just a source of pain for me.
So in this final clip here, we have Cody and Robyn talking about the property that I suppose the family co-owned. And at some point there was a dream or an idea that everybody would live as one unit in separate homes on the property. So we see some more grooming gestures, potentially some ventilation from Robyn as she combs through her hair, releasing some of the heat off her head. We also see an eye roll there. It signals a little bit of of disdain around the idea or conversation taking place. You never know. You never know. Her voice goes way up. We have a huge increase in the vocal inflection.
You never
Have a
know.
As she emphasizes that point, you never know. You never know.
I gotta be really honest with you. I'd almost rather scrap it or sell it and then just start again
Okay,
somewhere else.
I can't talk about that. I'm sorry. That is so
Well,
not where I'm at.
I can't talk about,
I cannot even
I
fathom.
can't talk
We have worked so-
anymore about reconciliation.
And then we have Cody saying, I'd rather just scrap it or sell the property. And we have a major eye block from Robyn. Now, if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that people will eye block around a conversation that they don't want to think about. The eyes are used as a barrier to block out information. And we see that from Robyn. We also see some distancing. They both turn away from one another, and there is such an increase in the distance between them. They were standing side by side just a moment ago, and then they've pulled away from one another. So Robyn is physically putting distance between that idea of selling the property and the disagreement between what they should do. She uses her hands to stop the conversation. I can't even talk about it, and she pushes it away. I don't want to go there. She turns to the other direction, and we see this kind of breath come out of her mouth, kind of an exhaustive, like, as she turns away, and her and Cody are now almost in opposite directions. So I think in Robyn's case, it tends to be that she has a victim mentality. Now, you may know somebody like this in your personal life. These people tend to think that the world happens to them and them only. They always seem to have a more pessimistic view. We all have things that happen to us that are outside of our control, but some of us bear more accountability and responsibility for how we handle those situations or how we let our emotions affect us. A lot of the frustration from Robyn, I think, comes from that lack of accountability in her controlling some of the narrative and not accepting the fact that perhaps there was some favoritism towards her. She tends to just kind of gloss that over. So somebody in the comment section had actually requested that I break down Robyn's behavior and body language. So I am reading your comments and I will take them into consideration. If there's somebody that you want me to break down, please feel free to write it in the comments below. Next week, we're going to be covering Meghan Markle and breaking down some of her behavior and body language. She's quite the controversial woman. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.